team, and happy Tuesday. I am excited to start math review with you today. Go ahead and get a pencil and paper if you don't have it already. And I know it's the first day of alphabet countdown to summer vacation. So I don't have a stuffed animal, but I do have a stuffed mushroom. So he is going to sit with me while we work on these problems. Okay, folks, we are going to start with this question that says draw a this number sentence 16 divided by 2 equals blank. 12 minutes to solve that problem. So I know that when I draw a division number sentence, I need to start with the total. And I know that the total is right here. The total divided by one part equals another part. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw hearts because I want to. And I'm going to draw 16 of them because I know that I need to, that 16 is my total. And whenever I'm doing a division problem, I know that there's two different parts. One is the number of groups, and the other is the number in each group. I already know my total, and I already know the number of groups. So we'll get to that in 1 second. I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my gosh. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I know that I need to see that it says divided by 2. So take a second to think. If 2 is one of my parts, what does that mean? Well, I know that that means I need to put them in groups of 2. So let's see how many groups of 2 I can make. I'm going to circle all these groups of 2 because I know that there are 2 in each group. So this is my number in each. Now I want to find how many groups I have of 2. I knew that there were 2 in each. And so now that I have 2 in each group, I will count my number of groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My answer is 8. I figured that out. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. I figured that out by drawing my total, circling groups of 2 because I knew that there were 2 in each, and then counting how many groups I had. That's how I figured out my missing part. All right, this next one says, about how many inches long is the fish? About 1 minute to solve it. All right. So when I look at this fish, I see this one, two, three, and then I see his tail is somewhere between three and four. I'm noticing that this question is about how many inches long is the fish. About means I need to estimate. So I see that it's bigger than three, plus four. It's at this halfway mark. And I just ask myself, ended the fish before or after the halfway mark? Well, it's definitely after because it's like almost four. So I am going to write the fish is about 4 inches long. And I know that because it's kind of big four, it's bigger than the 3.5 mark. So we round up four, almost at four. All right, let's move on. Okay, so for these two questions, you're going to need to hang on. Sorry, guys. Get my sheet open. You're going to need to draw the time, but I want to give you a second right now to draw your clock. That's why I drew one of them for you. Before you worry about drawing your hand, take a minute right here to draw clock, to draw circles, or rather draw two circles, and then you can let them follow the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then so take about 30 seconds to draw two clocks without hands. We'll move on to the hand part. Okay, so you should have the clock run now. Now, these are the times you need to draw 4:45, 6:50. I want you to be really careful that you are asking yourself, number one, did I draw a short hour hand and a long minute hand? And number two, where will the hour hand almost be? All right, I'll draw mine here. You can go ahead and take about 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna start by doing the minute hand because I see that these are tricky times because one is 45 and one is 55, which means that they're almost the next hour. So I'm gonna start with the minute hand. Now I'm gonna count by fives to get to 45 because I know that the minute hand goes by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So my long hand, my minute hand, is gonna point right at the 9. Now, this says 4:45. If it's 4:45, then my hour hand is going to be between the 4 and the 5 because it's the 4's hour. But it's going to be past halfway because it is only 15 minutes away from being 5 o'clock. So notice how my minute hour hand is much shorter than my minute hand. And notice how it's pointing pretty close to the 5. It's not at 5 yet because it's still the 4 is hour, but it's getting pretty close. Whenever you are getting after the a 30-minute mark, after the halfway mark, then your hour hand is going to look closer to the upcoming hour. But remember, still the 4 is hour. So there we go. This one says 6:55. Now, I remember from last time that I'm going to start with the minute hand because it's a little easier. And I know when I counted by fives, the 6 was 30. So I'm going to start at 30. 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So my long minute hand is going to be pointing at the 11. Now, this says 6:55. I know that it's still the 6's hour, but I also know it's only 5 minutes before 7 o'clock because the hour that comes next is 7. So my hour hand is going to point almost exactly on the 7 because it is almost 7 o'clock. It's not quite there yet, but I know that if it was pointing right at the 6, it would look like 5:55. When it is 55, it is almost the next hour. And when it's 45, it's also getting pretty close. Now, here's a brain teaser question. If you get up really early and your parent or your grandma or your sibling says, go back to sleep, it's too early, would that be 4:45 a.m. or p.m.? It would be 4:45 a.m., 4:45 in the morning. How about if you were about to eat dinner? Would that be 6:55 a.m. or 6:55 p.m.? 6:55 p.m. 6:55 at night. All right, you got one more question. He has 59 pennies Cent has 187 pennies. How many more does Miss Dixon have? So I'm going to circle the important question. I know 587 and 289 are important. And how many more is also important. So go ahead and make sure that you write your numbers in his first and then solve for 2 minutes. Think about 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to start here with my number sentence. My number sentence has to be 587 minus 289 equals blank. Now I know that because the question asks me how many more missing has, because I need to compare the two numbers. So I'm going to we can work together. 587 minus 289 equals blank. I'm going to start by just labeling the parts and the total. Total minus part equals part. So there are a couple different ways that you could solve this. You could use sticks and dots, you could use an algorithm, and you can use a number line. We're going to start by using a number line, and then we will also check it with the algorithm. So when I start with a number line, I want to start with my total. So I'm going to start at 587 and then count backwards until I get to 289. 587 minus 100 would be 487 minus 100 would be 387. Now, can I take away another 100 and get to 287? Well, I can, but then I'd have to do another hop back. So I can go like this, minus 387 minus one more 100 is 287. And then I could do just a plus 2. Let me make that a little more clear. A plus 2 jump right here to get to 289. So that would be one strategy. If you did that and that made sense for you, that's awesome. If that's a little confusing, that's okay. We're going to go a little slower. 387. And then I want to do a hop of minus 87, which would get me to 300, because 387 minus 87 equals 300. Then I need to get all the way down to 289. So I'm going to go minus 10 to get to 290, because I know that the next century down is 200, so 290. And then minus one more, get to 89. So then all I have to do is count up these. 100 plus 100 is 200. 200 plus 87 is 287. 287 plus 10 is 297. And 297 plus 1 is 298. So my answer would be 298. The other strategy I want to show you today is the algorithm. 587 minus 289. I'm going to make sure that these are super carefully lined up and start solving. 7 minus 9. Wait a second. I can't do 7 minus 9. I got to go next door and get 10 more. My 8 tens become 7 tens. And then when I add 10 here, it becomes 17 minus 9. 17 minus 9. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. My answer is 8, and I might just have known that in my head. Now 7 minus 8. Wait a second, I can't do 7 minus 8. Go next door and get 100 more. If I take away 100 from 5, I have 400s. And then I add 10 tens here. 17 minus 8 again. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. And then 4 minus 2 is 2. Getting the same answer of 298. Now I will say, if you thought in your brain backward, you saw those numbers and you thought, wait a second, they're both in the 80s, and you did some cool mental math here, it might look like this. 587, 487, 387, 287. That is only 2 less than 300. I needed to get to 289, and you could add back that 2 in your brain and get to 298. That would be fantastic. If you did not, that is okay. Okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your alphabet day.